Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So I was gonna wait to do this, but tomorrow's looking busy already. So I want to talk about it now, so the Pacers signed Bruce Brown Jr. to a 2-year contract worth $45 million. I don't know all the stipulations to it yet, but I'm hearing that like it has a team option with it, which I kind of enjoy. But I think this signing points to something bigger. And the reason I say that is because we just traded, like, a lot happened today. Like, if you're a Pacers fan, like, it was small shit, but in a way it was a lot of shit. So we traded Chris Duarte to the Sacramento Kings for future draft assets. I don't know what those assets are. I haven't even looked into it. I just got home from something, but it's just the idea, like, okay, we traded Chris Duarte for picks, which freed up about $4 million in cap space. It's like 4.1, right? So that happened. Then free agency breaks loose, and we get Bruce Brown Jr. on a 2-year, $45 million deal. You're looking at like roughly $22 to $23 million a year. And I'm just going to call this what it is, okay? This seems like a win-now move by the Pacers. When I saw that they signed Bruce Brown Jr. to a 2-year, $45 million deal, my immediate reaction was like, what the fuck? Like, this is our big free agent signing? Then, like, once I got service again, because I finally got home, all, like, the good guys are gone already. Like, you know, Kyrie went back to the Mavs. Jeremy Grant went back to the Blazers. Kuzma went back to the Wizards. Chris Middleton went back to the Bucks. So, like, it's at a point now where it's like, okay, all the big name guys are, like, off the board already. Harrison Barnes went back to Sacramento. Nikola Vucevic went back to Chicago. Not really a guy we were even interested in, but it's just the idea, like, all the, like, the big names, like, gone like that, right? I don't think we want James Harden. So I'm kind of Xing that out of the question, but now I'm kind of like, okay, so what do the Pacers got up their sleeve? Because, like, now it's like, okay, now that we have Bruce Brown Jr., it's like TJ McConnell's probably gone, and it's starting to look like Buddy Hield could be gone too. And if that's the case with all the draft assets we have, they're saying that we could trade for Obi Toppin, like we're emerging as the top suitor for Obi Toppin as well. I'm like, okay, so like we're trying to do some shit. Like it's obvious we're trying to get better and do it in a relatively short amount of time. Like it's obvious that the front office is trying to prove to Tyrese Halliburton that, like, you're here. We're trying to win. Okay? Like, that's what I'm getting from all of this, is like, we're done fucking around. Like, Bruce Brown brings championship experience. Like, yes, I know he just won a championship with the Nuggets, but you're bringing in a guy who was a solid bench player for them, who plays defense, he shoots threes, and that's what we need, man. We need a guy who's going to come out here and play defense and shoot threes. And if I'm correct, I'm not sure how tall Bruce Brown is. I mean, I never looked into it, but he's 6'4". So this is a guy who's probably going to play the 2 more than he's going to play the 3. So I'm assuming Buddy Hield is gone. Because Buddy Hield, like, part of the reason he, I think this happened is because Buddy Hield is not a good defender. I understand Pacers fans like him, and I understand why they like. I was even thrilled with him. Like, originally when we traded for Buddy Hield, I was like, what the fuck? Like, why did we trade for this fucking guy? Like, he was a locker room issue in Sacramento, and we get him, and while he's a good player, we're paying him a lot of money to basically exclusively shoot threes. Then there was the rumors with Max Strus, which I don't know how true that is, but now that we have Bruce Brown Jr., I kind of think Max Strus is gone. Like, he's out the door. I feel like at this point, obviously the Kyle Kuzma rumors are gone. But it's just the idea, man, like, something else I think is going on here. I'm not sure what exactly, but I'm assuming we're going to make a big splash for somebody. And I know there's Pacers fans that don't like Karl Anthony Towns. I happen to be one of the dudes that does like Karl Anthony Towns. But To a point now where I kind of think like we might be in the running for Karl Anthony Towns. Like we were linked to him, and there was other teams that were linked to him as well. Portland was one of them, and Chicago was one of them. Chicago brought back Vucevic, and Portland brought back Jeremy Grant. So those two teams are out of it now, right? Like they don't have the cap space to get Karl Anthony Towns or trade for him now at this point. So now that leaves us, and I believe the Knicks. And I don't think the Knicks have enough depth to really offer Minnesota what they want for Karl Anthony Towns. Also, putting Karl Anthony Towns next to Julius Randle just seems like really, really weird. I don't know. I don't think the fit in New York would be as good. But I'm starting to think now, like, trading Buddy Hield and Miles Turner and TJ McConnell for Karl Anthony Towns is a very real possibility. And then you come back and look at our starting five for next season. If we trade for Obi Toppin, it's sounding like 2 second-round picks for Obi Toppin is a thing that's going around. We could potentially have a starting five of Tyrese Halliburton, Bruce Brown Jr., Benedict Mathurin, Jarris Walker, and Karl Anthony Towns. And then Obi Toppin would come off the bench, or even Obi Toppin would start and Jarris Walker would come off the bench. And then our bench unit looks like Jarris Walker, Andrew Nembhard, we could, we still got Aaron Nesmith. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're really not as much of a lost cause at that point as people think. I know there's people who don't like Karl Anthony Towns because he's overpaid. I can agree with that sentiment. Yes, I do. I will agree with you 100%. Karl Anthony Towns is fucking overpaid. But if Tyrese Halliburton could turn Miles Turner, a 13-7 guy, right, into a 17-8 guy, or what was it? Yeah, like 17-8. I only imagine what Karl Anthony Towns would become in a system where he's like the main guy. Like if he would just listen to playing the pick and roll, which Carlisle I think would obviously try to make him do. And yes, I understand Karl Anthony Towns throws a fucking shit fit when he's not the center of attention or the main guy, but in our system he would be the main guy. Like, I know there's concerns with stunting Mathurin's growth and all this other stuff, but when you got a bench unit consisting of Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith and Obi Toppin, and we just got that undrafted free agent signing, Oscar Tshiebwe, who I think could be very fucking good. Like, yeah, I don't think he's going to be like an amazing player, but I think you're like kind of wrong if you're just automatically dismissing him, because he was one of the best like players in college basketball last year. Not this past year, but the year before. We need rebounding, and that's what he provides. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a brute force down low in the paint, and we need that. So, and the idea that he's a Kentucky product as well, like I'm pretty, isn't he? Like Oscar, he played for Kentucky, didn't he? Why is this showing up as Journeys? What the fuck? Hold on. Oh, Oscar, I'm pretty positive. Yeah, he played for Kentucky. This almost makes too much sense. Like, yeah, he played for Kentucky also. Like, I mean, that's amazing to me. Karl Anthony Towns, he played for Kentucky as well, if I'm correct, right? I'm pretty positive he did. God damn. Yo, fucking Karl Anthony Towns is a 7'4" wingspan? Holy fuck. But yeah, Karl Anthony Towns played for Kentucky too. Like this, I don't know. Like it's just the idea. Like I feel like something bigger is happening here than we're even being led on to believe. And honestly, like I like the idea that the front office is trying to shore up some of the issues with our squad. Like, yes, Oscar Tshiebwe is probably not going to be like our bench center. Okay, like he's more than likely going to be the guy that is in the G League for at least a year, and we might sign another center in free agency. I would think we're going to. I mean, unless the front office likes Tshiebwe that much that they're going to make him our bench center. I'm with it to try it. Do I think he's going to perform well? Maybe not immediately, but as time goes on, he'll probably get better. But all I'm saying is, man, like something could happen here, and I honestly believe like adding Tyrese Halliburton to Karl Anthony Towns and what he could provide, I think people will quickly forget about the insane fucking contract if we start winning games. Because I honestly, like, I know people love Miles, and Miles is on a great deal. I'm going to call it what it is. Like, he's an okay defender. I don't think he's good at defending his position. I think he's a good rim protector against guards and, like, wing players. But when it comes to playing his position, he sucks. And I understand why fans like him. I understand he's on a team-friendly deal, but the front office has been looking to move off of Miles Turner for a long fucking time now. And TJ McConnell's a guy that's like, we don't really need him anymore. Like, we have Andrew Nembhard who can run the offense with the starters or the bench unit. You know, we have Buddy Hield who doesn't play defense, and it seems like because he doesn't play defense that the team is not completely sold on him either. And to be fair, Buddy Hield is on an expiring deal. Like, Buddy Hield is a guy that it's like, if we're going to get anything for him, we kind of got to do it now. And honestly, right now, he's probably at his peak value, because if we go into next season and Buddy Hield starts playing like shit, then we're not going to get anything for him. So I think the front office is considering that as well. So even though my opinions tend to be unpopular, there's always reasoning behind them. I understand that people don't always like what I have to say. I understand that it's like, I'm the Pacers fan that comes out and says shit that nobody wants to hear or think is a fucking horror story. But it's just the idea, we could have a starting five next year of Tyrese Halliburton, Bruce Brown Jr., Benedict Mathurin, Obi Toppin, and Karl Anthony Towns to start the fucking season. And on top of it, people are like, oh, Karl Anthony Towns is going to stunt Ben Mathurin's growth. I don't think it will. Like, honestly, with Tyrese Halliburton being the point guard on our team, the initiator, the facilitator, right? We now have, like, a couple guys on our team who can actually defend. Like, Tyrese Halliburton's a solid defender, okay? Bruce Brown Jr., solid defender. We just signed him, right? We drafted Jarris Walker. Pretty much, like, is known for fucking defense. Like, we are shoring up so many parts of our team in a short amount of time, and it's just the way that it's coming together looks fucking phenomenal. I like it. Like I said, I'm not entirely sold on the Bruce Brown Jr. contract. I understand why we did it. I like the signing. I'm not in love with it, but I'm like, you know what? I understand why we did it. I'm fine with the money we're paying him, even if it is a slight overpay. Like, just the idea, man, like, I think something bigger is happening. Like, I really do. I feel like the Pacers are in talks with either the Timberwolves or another team for somebody. It's either going to be, listen, it's either going to be DeAndre Ayton or Karl Anthony Towns, okay? The Pacers seem to be very interested in replacing Miles Turner. Regardless of whether you want to admit that or not, they've been trying to get rid of Miles Turner for like 4 fucking years now, okay? And it's just the idea, I feel like this is the offseason that they do it. And I'm at a point where I'm like, you know what? Another, I don't know, Karl Anthony Towns averages, 24 and a half a game and 10 rebounds before he started playing with Rudy Gobert. And yes, those stats dipped a little bit because he's not playing around the basket and isn't the focal point of the offense anymore. But if he comes to Indiana and is the focal point of the offense, we're talking about a guy that could drop like 32 and 12 a night with Tyrese Halliburton throwing him the fucking rock, okay? And I just think right now our team, another 14 or 15 points per game, I feel like could win us a whole lot more games than just 3 blocked shots a game. Okay, and 17 points. That's all I'm saying. And even the rebounds get calculated into that. Like, Karl Anthony Towns, I think, is kind of an underrated passer as well. Like, I think people really underestimate that part of his game. But it's just the idea, man. Like, at this point, I just think adding Karl Anthony Towns and getting rid of TJ, Buddy, and Miles, and bringing in a guy like Cat could really, really shake shit up. And I know it sounds crazy right now, but if it does happen, shit could get real. And you know what? Maybe we have to throw the Minnesota Timberwolves a first-round pick in there. You know, maybe we have to do it. But it's just the idea, like, I'm not against it. I know a lot of you are, but I personally am not against it. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.